For this video today, I'll be providing an example of how DNA can be used for forensic analysis through a process called DNA fingerprinting. In this process, DNA is carefully amplified through polymerase chain reactions, or PCR, and used to identify individuals using variable number tandem repeats, or VNTRs. These locations are used to match the amounts of base pairs of individuals' DNA in order to tell if the DNA in question belongs to a specific individual. Today we're looking at an example of a crime scene where someone has stolen multiple boxes of N95 masks from a manufacturer and dropped one of their latex gloves that were used to not leave any fingerprints on the door handles. Unbeknownst to the perpetrator, these gloves can be tested for the DNA left behind. Although a security guard was present at the time this occurred, they were unable to identify the individual as they were wearing a mask. The forensic scientists, using PCR, amplified the DNA for testing and compared the results at two different loci with the security guard and 4 of the workers that had access to this part of the building. After applying the DNA and running the 2 loci on separate gels, we observed the following results. As we can see, they all come from diploid organisms, as there are 2 markings, each representing a chromosome. At VNTR1, we can see that suspect 1 and suspect 3 both match the DNA at the crime scene. I highlighted this in blue so it's easier to observe. Now, this does not mean that there was necessarily both of these suspects' DNA on the latex gloves, which is why more than one loci are being compared in order to narrow down the results from the testing. We can also see that the security guard, suspect 2 and suspect 4 do not have any matches with the DNA at the crime scene for the VNTR locus 1. Oddly enough, if we look at the green highlighted segments, we observe that one of these hits for the security guard matches one from suspect 4. This may just be a coincidence, but we'll have to look at the VNTR locus 2 for further analysis of these results. So here we see VNTR locus 2. We can observe the results and rule out the security guard, suspects 2, 3, and 4. With only one person's DNA matching the DNA at the crime scene, which is highlighted in blue again, we can see this would be suspect 1. Now, although we had matches at the VNTR locus 1, we can still rule out suspect 3 due to not being a match at VNTR locus 1 and 2. However, we can conclude that suspect 1 was the perpetrator, as there is a direct match for these sets of base pairs from both the crime scene DNA and the DNA of suspect 1 at both VNTR loci. Highlighted in green, we can also see that there's another match for the security guard and suspect 4. Upon further investigation, we found out that the security guard is the father of suspect 4, which would make sense as to why there's a match for one of the chromosomes at each of the VNTR loci, as one pair came from the father due to being a diploid.